Welcome to a JRepo. All right, let me ask you something. Did you know you probably use AI more than 50 times a day without even thinking about it? Seriously, the moment you unlock your phone with your face, when you get a recommended video, or even when you ask a smart speaker to play a song, that's all AI. It's everywhere. But how did we get here so fast? How did AI go from science fiction to being in our pockets? Well, in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on the one single idea that made all of this possible.
So, what's the secret sauce? What was the big bang moment for modern AI? It all comes down to a single research paper from way back in 2017. And trust me, the idea behind it is so brilliantly simple, you're going to be kicking yourself for not thinking of it first. Okay, you ready? Let's dive in.
Now, to really get why this was such a huge deal, we got to travel back in time, back to what I like to call the dark ages of AI. So, 2016. Before this big bang, AI was kind of like a genius with a really, really bad memory. It could learn things, sure, but it couldn't hold on to context for very long.
See, these early AI models had to read text just like we do, one word at a time, left to right. But here was the fatal flaw. They had a terrible short-term memory. Imagine reading a really long, complicated novel. By the time you get to the last chapter, you've completely forgotten who the main character's sidekick was from chapter 1. That was the problem these models had. They couldn't grasp the full picture.
This created this massive bottleneck, because everything had to be processed in a single file line. You couldn't just throw more computers at the problem to speed it up. It was like being stuck in a one-lane traffic jam during rush hour. What AI desperately needed was a way to see the entire sentence, the whole paragraph even, all at once. It needed to go from a country road to a 10-lane superhighway.
And then it happened. In 2017, a team of 8 researchers from Google dropped a paper that didn't just move the needle, it broke the whole machine. This wasn't just a simple upgrade, it was a total game changer, a genuine quantum leap for all of artificial intelligence.
And the title of this world-changing paper? Get this: Attention is all you need. And the best part? The title was actually a little inside joke, a nod to the Beatles song, All You Need Is Love. How cool is that? The paper that basically created the modern world of AI was named after a classic rock anthem. The impact was just astronomical. We're talking over 173,000 citations. To put that in perspective, that's one of the most influential scientific papers of the entire century. And those 8 authors? They basically became the rock stars of AI, every single one of them going on to found wildly successful AI companies. So what was in that paper? What was the secret? The secret was a brand new blueprint for AI called the Transformer. And the engine driving this new machine, the real magic, was a mechanism called self-attention. This was the key that finally let AI see the big picture. So putting it simply, self-attention lets an AI model look at an entire sentence all at once and instantly figure out how every word relates to every other word. It doesn't have to read in a straight line anymore. It can jump from the very first word to the very last word and understand the connection instantly. That whole short-term memory problem, poof, gone.
Check out this sentence. It's a perfect example. An older model would get to the word it and get confused. Was the robot heavy or was the ball heavy? But a transformer using self-attention looks at the whole sentence at once, weighs all the connections, and just knows that it refers to the ball. That single skill, understanding context, is the foundation for pretty much every AI you use today.
So how does it actually work under the hood? Well, you can think of it like a detective. For every single word, the AI has a query. That's its question. Like, what does this word really mean here? Then it scans the rest of the sentence for keys. Those are the clues. And when it finds a really good clue, it grabs the value, which is the piece of information it needs to solve the puzzle. It does this for every word all at the same time.
Now, this new ability to think in parallel didn't just make AI smarter, it made it scalable. For the very first time, researchers could use gigantic data sets and supercomputers to train models that were bigger than anything ever imagined. It was like they finally figured out how to build a skyscraper. This kicked off the era of the large language model, or as you probably know it, the LLM.
And after that, the floodgates just burst open. The years after 2017 were just a whirlwind. First, Google gave us BERT. Then OpenAI dropped GPT-2. Then the incredibly powerful GPT-3. And then, of course, the one that changed everything for everyone, ChatGPT. All of these incredible tools we use today are direct descendants of that one paper.
Okay, but with all this incredible new power came a whole new set of problems, right? These models aren't magic. They can do some truly mind-blowing things, but they also have some very real, very tricky limitations we need to talk about.
This is where things get kind of weird, in a really cool way. As these models got bigger and bigger, they started doing things they were never programmed to do. They developed new skills, like you could show one just a few examples of a task, and it could figure out how to do it perfectly. They were even starting to reason, step by step. These weren't programmed in, they were emergent abilities.
But, and this is a huge but, these models also have major blind spots. They can hallucinate, which is a nice way of saying they can make stuff up and state it with 100% confidence. And since they learn from the vast, messy internet, they can pick up and even amplify our own human biases. On top of that, there are all sorts of new safety and security concerns that the smartest people in the field are still trying to figure out. So, let's bring it all home. That attention mechanism was the golden key. It unlocked our current AI revolution by taking it from that one-lane country road to a massive, parallel-thinking superhighway. It is the fundamental reason the AI in your phone, on your computer, and in your home is so incredibly powerful today. And that leaves us with one last really fascinating question to chew on. Attention was the idea that solved the biggest problem of the last generation of AI. So, what's the big bottleneck now? And what's the next revolutionary idea that's going to unlock a future that we can't even imagine yet? And there you have it, the story of the one idea that completely reshaped our world. I really hope you enjoyed this peek under the hood of modern AI. If you did, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. And more importantly, let us know in the comments what AI topic you want us to break down next. Thanks for watching. Ajay